Ariel Castro, the Cleveland kidnapper who held Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Georgina DeJesus hostage for almost a decade, including fathering a child with one of them, took his own life. Last month, as you remember, he was sentenced to life without parole plus 1,000 years in prison. He pled guilty to 937 counts in order to avoid the death sentence. Remember that. And it turns out that he was found hanging in his prison cell, Lewis, after only about a month, serving only about a month of his prison sentence. There is an investigation going on. Details are being sought and explored. At his sentencing back on August 1st, he was insisting that it wasn't that he was evil, he wasn't depraved, he was simply addicted to sex. And Lewis, you remember, he said, not only I'm not a monster, I am sick. He also discussed how he practiced the art of masturbation. Here's the weird thing to me, Lewis. You plead guilty to 937 counts to avoid the death sentence, and then you kill yourself after 30 days. Some people are making a lot out of this, saying something was obviously wrong, he was being deceptive, or whatever the case may be, he was going to kill himself anyway. I think anyone who assumes we could know what exactly he was thinking and what the logic was behind his actions, we have no idea.
It could just be as simple as once he got there, he couldn't handle it, or he was getting abused by a number of other inmates.
Well, he wasn't solitary confinement, so that was actually, there was some speculation that maybe, you know, there are rapists and child molesters are not treated particularly well in prison, as we have discussed, and so there was speculation that maybe this was at the hands of other inmates, but he was in solitary confinement, and it appears that there's absolutely no reason to think that's what took place.
All right. Well, I mean, my guess would be he just lost his mind and couldn't handle it. I mean, I think it's also too bad that they leave things in these cells that give inmates the option of hanging themselves. I think there's probably a way to avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when you're on suicide watch, you don't have access to those types of things. I don't believe that he was, which kind of furthers the idea that he was sociopathic and completely disconnected in his actions from what was going on in his mind and from any sort of empathy, obviously, for the women. I really feel bad beyond just the three victims, the child that Castro fathered. Can you imagine that your life exists because of a kidnapping, sex slavery, and rape? And I wonder, and I ask this question without any preconceived notion of what the right answer is and without any prejudice or implication at all, is this a case where ignorance is bliss and that child would be better off not knowing the history of their existence?
I think so. I think this child could have a perfectly normal, good, healthy life, never know that, and be perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we may be assuming a lot by assuming that just if they don't know that their life is going to be perfectly normal and healthy.
I said could be.
Could be. Yeah. No, you're right. I think that this is one of those tough situations because there's value in honesty and in knowing your background. And I don't know the answer. I would open it up to the audience. I mean, it is a tough question.